Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am so excited to have my guest today, Chris Woolsey. He is Senior Director of Communications for Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. That includes Redbox, it includes Crackle, and it includes Chicken Soup for the Soul TV. So thank you for being with us today, Chris.
Oh, are you kidding me? This is amazing. Thank you so much for having me. This is great.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, just kind of go ahead and let's start out with just kind of a broad overview. Tell us, for the people that are watching today that might not be as familiar with the different streaming services, what can they expect out of Crackle and Chicken Soup for the Soul and Redbox?
Great question. So, yeah, we've got three different streaming brands, Crackle, Redbox, and Chicken Soup for the Soul. And each one kind of has a slightly different focus. So Crackle is kind of the old man of the group. Crackle was actually one of the first advertising video on demand platforms in the entire industry. It was originally owned by Sony and then purchased by Chicken Soup for the Soul Entertainment. And the focus, while there are tons of movies on there, Crackle does tend to have a little more of an extensive library for television series. And we've had a ton of success either producing our own series in-house, or as you can see when you go to crackle.com or download the app and check it out, just how many TV series. We have a ton of classic TV. So shows from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. But then we also, as I said, have newer shows as well, whether we've produced those in-house or we've acquired those elsewhere. And then we have Redbox. Redbox is very film forward, very strong, with a lot of blockbuster titles. And these titles get refreshed every month. So there's always new things coming to all of our streaming platforms. But Redbox is has more of a focus on films and more of a focus on kind of blockbuster titles, sometimes some bigger name celebrities on Redbox. That's kind of our mass market brand. And then finally, Chicken Soup for the Soul, which is known worldwide from the encouraging book series, but we also have this amazing streaming brand, and we also produce programming and content on Chicken Soup for the Soul in-house. So we just produced Wedding Talk, which is a great series that we'll talk about a little bit later with Tara Lipinski. But yeah, and this brand has a little more of a female-centric focus. So, and that doesn't just mean home and garden and cooking shows. We run the full gamut. I mean, I just learned that the largest audience for crime content is actually women. So we have a really exciting amount of both true crime and scripted television series and films in that genre on Chicken Soup for the Soul. So it really does have something for everyone.
Awesome. So, kind of with those different streaming platforms, you have Chicken Soup for the Soul, and you have Redbox, and you have Crackle. Tell us, what are the shows and movies that people are really watching a lot of and really engaging with on those different platforms?
Sure. So we've got a lot of, as I said, we get new content every month, and we have a lot of great shows on all the platforms right now. So for Crackle, what we're seeing people are really excited about, there's a couple of series. One is The Pinkertons, and this is it's a scripted, it's almost a Western series. It's kind of a hybrid because it's a detective series that takes place in the mid to late 1800s. So I don't know, I'm a history nerd. I'm actually a lot of kinds of nerds, but one kind is a history nerd. And the Pinkertons were actually the first detective agency in the United States. And Alan Pinkerton started it, and he basically just revolutionized detective work in the United States. And he's played on this series by Angus McFadden, who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart. And he's spectacular. And then the interesting character out of that was Kate Wern, who was the first female detective in the United States. And she's played by Martha McIsaac, who is in Superbad. She's been in a million things, but she actually saved the life of President Lincoln at one point. There was an assassination plot before the one that took his life. And Kate Wern in real life came up with this idea on how to get Lincoln out of the area without the assassins being able to know what they were up to. And
Wow.
it's a great series. If you like Westerns, if you like detective shows, if you like period pieces, this is definitely one to check out. We also have Happy Valley. So we have a deal with the BBC. And so we have a ton of BBC content. And one of the shows that I'm most excited about and that our audience is most excited about is called Happy Valley. The third season just dropped on BBC, but we have the first 2 seasons on Crackle for free. And it's a detective show based in the UK, obviously. And it's starring Sarah Lancashire, which she had a great role in the movie Yesterday, if you saw that. She's a phenomenal actor, and she plays Catherine Kaywood, who is a detective who is feverishly trying to track down the man who she feels was responsible for the death of her daughter. And so it's sort of this like dark journey into the soul of a detective. But she's also working in this really seedy area of London. And it's about her personal struggles, as well as this sort of obsession she has about bringing the man who ended her daughter's life to justice. It's a spectacular show, both seasons for free. You can binge right through it. Happy Valley, really great stuff.
Awesome. So I had no idea about the Pinkertons and that whole, plot to assassinate Lincoln being stopped. So that's really interesting to me. I didn't know that.
It's fascinating. It's a great show. And then finally on Crackle this month, on the 13th, we have the 2015 version of Vacation with Ed Helms and Christina Applegate. So we're super excited about that. It's sort of a reimagining of the Chevy Chase classic. But I think it was great. I howled through the whole thing. So if you're looking for a little something to raise your spirits, Vacation on the 13th is definitely the way to go.
Awesome. And I know you've got the show with Tara Lipinski, right?
Yes, we do. Yep, and that's on Chicken Soup for the Soul. We just dropped today 5 new episodes, so you can watch the first half of season 1 on Crackle right now. But to see the second installment of the back half 5 episodes of season 1, those are currently only available on Chicken Soup for the Soul, and you can download that from your favorite app store, or you can go to chickensouptv.com and you can cast it to your TV from your laptop. And that's a great show. So what it is Olympic gold medalist and commentator Tara Lipinski hosts this show called Wedding Talk, along with 2 wedding experts, Jove Meyer and Jose Rolon. And they watch a lot of different kinds of weddings, but many of them are those kind of crazy, over the top, like million plus. We've got a wedding on there that has a dance number in the middle of the ceremony with like 30 dancers with costume changes. Like some of these things are the craziest over the top weddings you've ever seen. But then we also have these beautiful stories. We have a quadriplegic who fell in love with his caretaker and they ended up getting married. And so it's these very special moments, but they watch the wedding footage on this gigantic, almost like a movie screen behind them. And then they'll pause and stop and explain, oh, that bouquet there, that bouquet came, from Indonesia and it was $50,000. And like, they'll sort of like give you a play-by-play of the weddings just because they know so much about the subject. But it's a spectacular show. If you're in the market for getting married or just a lover of love, that's a great show to check out for sure.
Yeah, lover of love. I like that.
And speaking of which, on Chicken Soup for the Soul, this month we've got a ton of rom-coms. We're getting up to Valentine's Day. And one of the fun ones, so you asked about original content. So obviously Wedding Talk is an original. And then we also have original rom-coms and sitcoms on Chicken Soup for the Soul as well. So we have one this month called For the Love of Chocolate. And it's a super sweet, no pun intended, rom-com that takes place in the candy industry. Really fun, really light. If you're looking for something to watch with your significant other on Valentine's, it's a pretty sweet choice for you.
Cool. So yeah, that's the thing. I think there's so many different free streaming apps. I know for me, when I first got a Roku, I just go through and I download all of them, and they can kind of get lost in the shuffle. So I think it's really great hearing about those different shows, because I think a lot of people might not even realize there are originals that you can only find on Crackle and on Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Totally, totally. And we don't forget about Redbox. So
Mm-hmm.
Redbox, a lot of people know as the DVD kiosk company, which is absolutely
Mm-hmm.
true. We have over 34,000 kiosks around the country. But what a lot of people don't know is that they have a gigantic free streaming service as well. So if you go to redbox.com or download the Redbox app from your favorite app store, you can watch literally thousands of movies on there. And this month we've got a bunch of great stuff. The Super Bowl is just around the corner, or the big game, we should call it, is just around the corner, and your boys will be representing there. Very exciting. But one of my favorites, I'm a big documentary guy, and one of my favorite sports documentaries of all time is on Redbox this month, and it's called 85, The Greatest Team in Football History. And this obviously is talking about the 85 Chicago Bears, which you were probably too young, but I grew up in that era. And they were just larger than life. It was like, they were almost like watching a movie, just seeing them during that year. And I didn't realize how bad Chicago sports had been for like 20 years when they hit the scene. And so the entire city just electrified around these guys. And the documentary has everybody on it. It's got Mike Ditka, Jim McMahon, Walter Payton, Mike Singletary, Refrigerator Perry. But not only the players, it also has all these Chicago celebrities who talk about what it was like to live in the city when this was going on. So you've got Jeremy Piven and Bill Murray, and even Barack Obama makes an appearance on the show and talks about what it was like. And so it's an awesome, awesome documentary. 85, The Greatest Team in Football History. I highly recommend that one. And then one last title, and this is just one of I like weird films. And so if regular rom-coms aren't your jam for Valentine's, I highly recommend Lars and the Real Girl. I don't know if you ever saw that, but it's
Oh yeah.
yeah, Ryan Gosling,
Ryan Gosling,
2007. He falls in love with an inanimate object and treats her like he would any other special girl in his life. And it's a weird movie, but it's so heartwarming. And the way the town and the church come around him to love him. And he's such a strange, odd individual. And yet everyone comes around him to support him on this bizarre journey that he's on. So Lars and the Real Girl, I recommend that one wholeheartedly.
Yeah, definitely a kind of oddly touching film. So
I was
yeah.
shocked how much I liked it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a lot of good stuff to watch. So yeah, so if you haven't downloaded Crackle or Chicken Soup for the Soul or Redbox, you should definitely do it. I know I recommend it. And with Redbox also, if you've paid to rent or purchase movies, you can watch it through the same app, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, it's a one-stop shop. They've got everything on there.
Awesome. So yeah, so thanks, Chris. Great hearing from you. I know there's a lot I'll be watching. So anyone watching this, just go ahead and let us know in the comment section down below what you will be watching on Crackle and Redbox and Chicken Soup for the Soul. So glad that you were on today to talk, and I'll look forward to talking with you later.
Matt, this was amazing. Thanks so much for having me on the show. And I'm counting the days till I can come back.